Hi, my dear friends from all over the world. So, this is a series of interviews with some people who are really good at something. I believe that you can only take advice from someone who lives the life that you want, as you can learn so much. So, let's learn together. Our guest today is Esther, and I was wonderstruck when I heard the story of this woman. I think this is one of the most inspiring stories that I have ever heard in my life. So Esther was born in Kenya, and she became a mother at the age of 20. Then she was homeless for a while. She was struggling with finding jobs, almost committed suicide, but then found some strength and power to continue, had another child, and after all of this, got her first degree at the age of 33. I met Esther at Cambridge, where she got her full scholarship. And I just think that this story is so inspiring and powerful, so I decided to interview Esther. Please enjoy the interview. We are here at the University of Cambridge. What do you study here?
I've actually graduated. I did MPhil in development studies. It's 9-month course, and it was the best course that I ever done, and I'm grateful that I did.
And the thing that surprised me is your age, actually. You look wonderful. Let's reveal how old you are.
Yeah, I am 38, turned 38 on the 31st of March. Yes, and happy to be 38.
It's fantastic. And you have two kids.
2 kids, yeah. I have a 17-year-old daughter and a 3-year-old son.
When did you do your undergraduate?
I started my undergrad at 33 years. Yes, and immediately after I graduated at 36, 37 applied for my Cambridge, 38 I did my Cambridge MPhil, and yeah.
So we're gonna talk about this, and I think this story is quite inspiring. So there are lots of different things that I would like to talk about, and also some personal things that you said that you're okay with sharing.
Yeah.
So I think it's gonna be very interesting for people to learn from you.
True.
So also, like, already the fact that you are here and you have just completed your degree. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you,
It's fantastic.
thank you.
Where are you originally from?
I am from Kenya, born, raised, schooled. Actually, this is my first time coming to this part of the world when I started my MPhil last year in October. So basically, I've always been in my continent and basically in Kenya most of the time.
And what do we need to know? Like maybe like a brief story of your life, just to give an overview, and then I will ask you some questions that I'm curious about.
Okay.
If you just give us a short bio.
Okay. As you've heard, I'm 38 years old. I'm a mother of 2 beautiful daughter and handsome son, and I love life, and I feel like life is for the living. That's my mantra on how I approach life, basically. And I'm also a very curious human being. I was a very brilliant child growing up, but because of development issues, lack of money, and then environment nurtured me to be something else. And at 20, I was already a mom, and I had to go through the muckiest of the muckiest just to survive. And then one day I realized we all are prisoners of our thoughts, and I decided, let me turn it over, and yeah, here I am. Everything worked, and I believe the moment you decide to strive and achieve the best, you will always get the best, because we are creators of our own destinies. Yeah,
It is true.
yeah.
So I will start with the questions chronologically.
It's okay.
So you became a mother at a relatively young age.
Yeah.
You turned 20 and then you gave birth to a child.
Yes.
And what are you comfortable with sharing of this experience? How was it, and what helped you to go through it?
Of course, everything does not just happen.
Yes.
In high school, I was an activist, and my first high school, and because I was an activist, I was like, yeah, my rights and all that stuff. And in Kenya, then they didn't want someone who's aggressive as a woman, especially as a girl, especially someone who's loud, someone who's trying to challenge the status quo and all that stuff. So I ended up getting expelled at Form 2.
What? I didn't know this.
Yeah. So I got expelled, and I embraced it and went to this school. And then everything just turned out to be different, because I was this person who felt I need more. I need to. I love fun. I'm a love funning human being. So I'll go out. I'll do so many sorts of things, and with that I actually deviated from my progress, that is academics, and I really didn't care that much. But deep down inside me, that young child who was once the best pupil in Nairobi province back in Kenya got certificates, and I remember every time I would see the certificate, I'm like, what are you doing? But again, as a teenage girl living in sort of an informal setup in Kenya, I didn't see much, but I knew education is the key. But still, I didn't see much. I didn't believe it that much, and the world took care of me in a different way, and I found myself pregnant. I was actually doing my A levels in Uganda from 5 and 6, so my entire from 6 I was pregnant. But the good thing is, because when you're brilliant, you know you're brilliant. So I didn't stop going to school. I went to school all the way through to 8 months. I was very tiny. I was 35 kgs, so my pregnancy was not showing. Went, gave birth, and came back to sit for my exam with a child who was 3 days old.
Oh my gosh.
And the funny bit is I've never gone for the results. So
really?
Yeah, it's crazy, but I said I'll go for them. That is 17 years later, never. But I said I will.
And how was, like, reflecting back, how was this time? You have just given birth to your child, and you've just finished your high school, and then how was it? Because it's quite a challenge.
Yeah,
and
it is.
what helped you to go through it? Because how was your relationship with the father of your child? What challenges were you going through, and what helped you to deal with it?
Of course, when you get pregnant at that age, I mean, even the person who's impregnated you is young. They still have a life, and they moved on. I had to move on, and I had to just survive. So I think I can say for almost 10 years after giving birth, I was living in survival mode, trying just to understand what's going on, hating on everything. But one thing that life didn't take out of me is the inner child. That's why I keep on telling people, embrace your inner child. It will save you even when you are in the trenches, because I normally say those were the days that actually defined me in very profound ways. And I learned a lot. It's then that I started reading. I've always been an avid reader. I used to love reading novels when I was 10 years. Actually, I started reading when I was 7 years. The Peter Pans and the likes, and then gradually developed to Sidney Sheldon, Daniel Steele, and the rest, James and Glitches, and the rest. And I think these books sort of taught me that life can make you a villain through experiences, but it does not mean that it will define you. So you must be a victor. The initial stages were, they were horrible. I was suicidal, but there was something in me that told me one day this child is gonna be great. I'm gonna use Salif Ellen Johnson, the former president of Liberia's book, and yeah, I'm glad I didn't give up on myself, and I started finding myself. I think it's until 2012 that I started reading motivational books by Paulo Coelho, The Winner Stands Alone by River Piedra. I sat down and wept. And I was like, I don't want to weep anymore because I was definitely crying. Or, I have a child.
Mhm.
I am alone. I have to cater for the child. So I'm thinking for two people. So a child thinking about
Another
their child.
Yes.
Yeah, but I think they actually strengthened me completely because nowadays I know you can become anything that you want to be. You can get out of any situation that you are in. Nothing defines you completely as long as you don't give up on yourself. So for me, it's always don't give up on yourself. Life is for the living. As long as you're alive, things can turn, life can change. And then don't ever lose your inner child, because your inner child always ensures that you're able to go back and remember that dreamer. So me, I carry that inner child with me up to date. That's why maybe I am not aging.
True.
Yeah.
You are worth admiration. I truly admire you, Esther. Like the fact that you mentioned that you were homeless for a few days
Yeah.
with a child when
Yeah.
you were a child.
Yeah.
It's something that I cannot even imagine the amount of sadness and emptiness that you
Yeah,
might have.
it was very hollow.
During this time, like during this survival mode,
Mm-hmm.
what was your guidance? Like, what was your light that you were going to? Like, what helped you during these moments when you did not have anywhere to go?
Mm-hmm. I think it's because when you remember those shiny moments whereby, oh, I used to be the best in this province. I used to do this. I used to do this. So those memories and power of the memory. Power of memory is very, very great. And I think sometimes people ask me, why do you delete the bad memories from your mind, from your heart? Like, yeah, because why do I want to carry burden? Bad memories are burden. They create fear, they actually are responsible for mental health, because memories create everything. Memories create human beings. From when we were children, we only survive through memory. That's why when people go into comas, they come back and they've lost their memories, they have to start again. So we are basically memories.
Yes.
We are just walking memories. That's why you the first time you came to Cambridge, I think everything was confusing, but now you can have your way. You can go anywhere because you understand, because you created memories. So human beings are memories, and I choose always just to keep the nice memories. And if these nice memories are impacted by a sad memory, I choose to cancel them. I cancel them, and I don't care about it. I'm like, I'm only gonna keep the good memories. And if the good memories have a lot of bad memories to it, I cancel everything and move on and create new memories, because we add memories.
I think you are one of the most positive people who I have ever met, and I think that hadn't you told me your story, I would have never guessed.
Yeah.
Yes, it's you're doing so well in it. And what happened later? So once you had the child, and how was your life after it? Maybe before your first degree.
Okay, I was working in various industries, of course, manual, casual jobs. Was working in the supermarkets. And the good thing is, I am a very positive person. I see positivity in everything, in everyone, in life. I am just positive. I don't like complaining. And if you find me complaining, I'm just making fun of it. So when I was working in the supermarkets, I'll see very rich, educated young women, because I always ensure that I draw inspiration from my kind. It's not like I don't like the other kind, but as human beings, a sense of belonging gives you hope. So when I will see women driving, young women with good jobs, I'm there trying to push sales in a supermarket, like one day, this will be me. And with time, because I love reading, I started reading, I've told you, Paulo Coelho's. I started reading Power of Subconscious Mind. I started reading so many things, The Secret, and I realized, oh, mind is a very powerful tool. And if you use it properly, you can get whatever you want. It can get you out of situation A to B to D to C. It can actually help you get whatever you want. And the universe always conspires to make it happen. So I took that as a challenge, and I started working on my mind, started following the lessons, started believing in the power of the universe, in the law of attraction. I read, I even wrote myself a letter. In 2014, I wrote myself a letter. I was a receptionist. I wrote myself a letter saying, hey, Wavinya, I love calling myself by the second name because Wavinya is a Kamba name. I'm a Kamba, and Wavinya means a woman with incredible energy, vigor, and vitality.
This is who you are.
Exactly. So I wrote myself a letter in 2014 talking about my education, my car, my good life, and everything. And one day in 2020, I found that letter. And
Then you were here.
And I was laughing when I was reading it. I was laughing, and at the same time I was like, wow, life is so magical. And I remember reading it, and I remember asking myself, how I know you're smiling while reading this letter. Oh, look at you peeping out of the window just to look at your car. And I was actually in my kitchen reading that letter, and I peeped out of the window and I saw my car. And then later on, and you're performing well. How are your grades? I know you're loving it. You're enjoying your education. I'm like, wait, I'm actually getting A's.
You manifested it.
Like everything came to pass. And I was like, wow. And ever since then, I've never stopped believing in myself. When I set myself to a task, I do it. That's why I don't like procrastinating. I don't like doing things the last minute, because I want to ensure everything that I do it not out of survival mode. I hate being in survival mode because it actually makes me stressful. I don't like stress. I like being calm. I like being collected. I just enjoy being cool, so that I can also have my fun moments. Because for me, I also believe too much work makes Jack and Jane dull. So I complement the two, and yeah.
And it required a lot of inner strength to have this firm belief that you're gonna achieve all of these things.
Yes.
How was this transition? So when you were alone with a child, homeless, and I remember you mentioned your mother told you, like, don't come back to
Don't
her.
come back.
Which is like, it's a horrible thing to hear, especially when you're already in this stressful
situation. Actually, I was not homeless when I was pregnant. When I had the child, I was homeless when I was pregnant. When I came back from Uganda, now during my 9-month period, I had this. I had this friend of mine. She would accommodate me during the day, and during the night I had to find somewhere because she was living with the bigger brother, and the big brother didn't want to see me there. I mean, I'm just a young girl. I might influence my friend also to get pregnant, you know. So you become, it's like stigma, it's like taboo, it's like bad disease, bad habit, bad everything bad. So I had to find my way through it. And I gave birth. And I remember one day I just called my mom and I told her, I know I've messed up, but don't let this world swallow me. Don't you've given up on me, but don't 100% give up on me. Just get me a single. So she got me a small room, single room in I think
in where
in the extreme informal settlements in Nairobi.
But you were totally alone.
I was just alone.
And when you started working, who was with the child?
Sometimes I live with friends. I live with my cousin. Sometimes my sisters will come when they're back from university. They'll come and stay with the kid. So I had support of sisters and friends. And neighbors. Actually, my neighbor, there's a neighbor of mine, I'll never forget her ever. She was there, and for me, I had to ensure that I come, because when you're living in informal settlement, everybody is surviving.
Yes.
It's just survival for the fittest. You want to, even if you put one meal a day on the table, that's something. Yeah, and it happened to be during the post-election violence in Kenya, which was really bad. And when the violence will strike, I mean, you're paid daily wages, so you don't go to work. So we started I feel people in the informal settlement are very friendly and very helpful and very giving. So they'll just give you the little they had and you share. I remember those neighbors. I remember we used to call it plot 10 because everybody is living in that single apartment. You're sharing a sink outside. We're sharing a laundry area. We're sharing a bathroom. We're sharing toilets. It's really common in Africa. That's why I did development studies, because I mean, I've lived it, I've experienced it, and I believe people should not live like that. 2024, no. Yeah.
We want to contribute, yes, and to give back.
Yeah.
And so your first job was supermarket.
Yeah, supermarkets. Yeah.
And you were living alone there with a child, and you were working in the supermarket.
Yeah. What
was your next job? Because you mentioned you were a receptionist, and how were the transitions for you?
So sometimes, these supermarket jobs, you only do them Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Do from Monday to Thursday. There's not a lot of traffic in the supermarkets. A lot of people do their shoppings Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I think I did that until 2011, and I was like, I need something stable. I started, because when I was working in the supermarkets, I would admire secretaries and receptionists who will just come to get something for breakfast or something. And I was like, I need something permanent or something long-term, something that has a bit of security. And I manifested it as like, I need to wear mini skirts, I need to wear...
I like this word.
I want to wear heels, I just want to look professional, and I just want to work with computers. And one day I met a friend, my mother's friend, and she was like, oh, you lost, and then she told me, my daughter works for this company, and then I met the daughter, we became friends. She also had a daughter. She was working as a receptionist. And I remember it was during Christmas time, and she's called Faith.
She's called Faith?
Faith.
Really?
Faith, yeah. And I remember her telling me, I'm going to buy Christmas clothes for my daughter. Do you want to take me? I can also get your daughter a dress. I was like, no, I don't want you to buy her a new dress. I want us to go to the informal market and buy second-hand clothes, because with that money, I will carry a paper bag full of clothes, and it's from there I'll try to get very nice matching either skirt and top for my daughter. And still she'll have lots of clothes. And she was like, okay, sure, no problem. So I took her, she bought for her daughter the new clothes, and the money that she had set aside for my daughter, we went to, it's called Gikomba, we went, we bought clothes, so many of them, and I was like, yeah, this one can push her for a while. And then she took me to a fish and chips eatery. I cannot recall the last time I had fish and chicken and chips, and soda. That day, I was like, you know what? I have to ensure I am able to afford this kind of lifestyle. And it was just normal fish and chips. Anybody now, of course, the people even currently now, I believe in Africa, cannot afford that. And that was my defining moment. And I remember telling her, please get me a job. I want to be going to work, because I felt redundant. I felt I was an unused vessel to contribute to the economy. So I wanted to make myself valuable, to add value to the market. And I kept on telling her, I can be a secretary, I can be a receptionist. So when you hear something, just tell me. And one day in 2012, I remember I had decided, you know what, this life, I am done. So I wrote my mom a long letter, took my daughter to my mom's, and decided I am going to commit suicide. I cannot deal with this anymore. Because I wanted to kill myself and my daughter, but I was like, this will be very unfair to her. And then I made the journey. I wanted to go and throw myself in the ocean. But when I went there, I felt like the ocean was talking to me. Wavinya, don't give up on yourself. You're gonna be a very great person. It's gonna take time, but you have to understand. You have to go through all this so that you can help other people overcome their challenges, overcome their daily challenges. You will ensure that you end inequality, everyday poverty. You will be part of the development processes. And I felt my heart very warm. 2 hours later, my friend called me and told me, you know what? There's a vacancy. I have been promoted. Come for interview tomorrow. And she sent me fare, and that's the beginning of everything. From that day, I was very happy. If you could see me walking with coffee in the office, it was the happiest moments of my life. I worked for that company for 5 years. I learned a lot. I learned how to use a computer. I learned a lot. I learned how to send emails, write invoices. I actually learned a lot how to handle clients. Yeah, so it was a perfect moment for me.
How old was your daughter when you wanted to commit suicide?
It was 2011. She was 5 years.
So was it that during 5 years you really wanted a better life and you kept struggling? So because sometimes it's like, oh, I want this, I really believe, but then it doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen.
So was it because you were fed up with the fact that it wasn't happening, you couldn't do it anymore?
And remember, it was that moment where social media was out there. There was Facebook. You could see your friends, they've graduated, they're having their entry level jobs, they're doing well, some are traveling, some are doing well, and you're there asking yourself, wow, this is what has become of me. Yeah, so
if you were to summarize like the experience, so you were there, you wanted to kill yourself, right? How long did it take you to realize that it wasn't the thing that you wanted?
Actually, I think when I was going to, because where the ocean is and where Nairobi is, those are two different counties. It's like 500 kilometers. So I took a bus with the desire that, you know what, I'll just go walk in because I didn't know to swim back then. And the ocean will just eat me away, and I'll disappear. They will not need to look for a body. I'll just be gone. I'll be eaten by ocean animals. And it will be easy, and that will be it, and there will be no memory of me ever. But when I got there, I just felt this, and ever since, every time I want to reflect, every time I want to have a new strategy, a new dream, a new way of life, I just go to the ocean and have a conversation. And that's how I actually came to love the universe and all its bodies, all the moon. I am passionate about the moon and all that stuff. Yeah.
Would you consider it to be the phoenix moment for you, the renaissance?
Exactly. Yes, actually, that was it.
I think sometimes, when you already, you face this lethal moment, and then you think, okay, if it's it, then there is only one path, so everything ends, right? Yeah. But if I'm still alive, then I don't really care. I can do everything that I want.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was a pushing moment as well.
It was sort of a pushing moment. It was an awakening moment. Yeah, it was everything.
Because what do you lose, right? You already wanted to kill yourself, so now you have all freedom to live the way that you want.
The way that I want, yeah.
And so you started the job as a receptionist.
As a receptionist.
Where you were wearing miniskirts,
heels, and I would feel like, oh, finally. And I knew every day I have a purpose. Every day I'm going to work. Because human beings are actually, they're happy when they have a purpose and they're fulfilling it and they're living it. But every day when you wake up, you have nothing to do.
Yeah, the purpose is very important.
Yeah, you feel empty. So I felt so full of life. I made new friends. And even started blogging because that's when blogging had just started. I had my own blogs. I used to collect poems and stories from Kenyans, and it was really doing well. I started getting adverts, still as a receptionist. And I even met the creatives in Kenya. I would go to so many. So my life became full of purpose, and it made me dream more. And I remember a friend of mine told me one day, "You have to go back to school." I was like, "Yeah." That has always been my end game.
What do you think was behind this purpose? Because many people struggle with finding their purpose, even though some might already know what they want to do, but sometimes it's so hard to understand what specifically you want to do. And what do you think was your light in this? So you didn't have a purpose, and you started working as a receptionist, so you started to enjoy it. What do you think? What specifically helped you to find your place in life? What motivated you to go to work? What made you happy during this time?
For me, the moment I became a receptionist, I was actually the most happiest person. Remember, initially, my purpose was to wear heels and miniskirts and carrying bags and just feeling and being stuck in traffic early in the morning. So that for me was like, wow, I'm now in the job market. Now I can say I'm employed. I have this. Because you don't, when you come from informal settlement, you don't see, a lot of people are idle. A lot of people stay home. A lot of people they are purposeless. Yes, they might have purpose, but they're scared. They become victims. Every day they're just complaining, oh, this life is unfair and all that stuff. But for me, the moment I started working as a receptionist, I was like, this is the beginning to more better, new life. And I knew that one day I'm going to go to school, and I knew that one day I'm going to come to Cambridge. I've always admired coming to Cambridge. And now being there made me see the possibilities of everything.
I just want to point out this thing that women always remain women. Even, you were going through so, serious situation. It was so hard moments of your life. And the power of outfits, we never...
Yeah!
we can never underestimate it.
Exactly.
Yes. I remember it happened to me many times. And I remember some of my Chinese friends told me that they do have this Chinese technique. So when girls prepare for the exams in China, I might be wrong because I only heard it from a friend. They have something like princess studying method. So when they want to force them to study, they apply the makeup, they choose an amazing outfit, and they go to the library. So when there is the exam season, and you go to the library, you see all of these fantastically dressed Chinese ladies studying because it motivated them to kind of get out of their pajamas and to do something.
And to do something. Yeah, true.
Yeah. And yes, it's fantastic. Yes.
Yeah. Power of dressing.
True.
It's very true. Yeah.
And how long were you a receptionist for?
For 5 years, and it's within the 5 years. I actually left my receptionist work in 2016, 22nd of December. I can never forget that day.
Right.
And it's because I had gotten to a point that now I felt this job was becoming redundant. I felt I needed more. I had this desire for more, and I would see more out of myself. And I made that decision, and I was like, when you read the law of attraction, you read the power of the universe, subconscious mind, the secrets, it's Paulo Coelho and the rest. They give you this sense of, if you are tired about a situation, you have to take yourself out of it. No one is coming to save you. And I remember I used to tell myself, no one is coming to save you, because I wrote my resignation letter in June 12th. But I did not hand it until December 16th. 2016, 22nd of December 2016. Okay. That's when I handed my resignation. And because it was not a big company, it was a big company, but it was by the Chinese, by the Indians, so there's not a lot of bureaucracy. So they took my resignation, they gave me my stipend for working for 5 years. Yes, and I went out there because I had done my diploma for 9 months. and I got a distinction.
During your time as a receptionist or after it?
That year, 2016, I did my diploma. It was a 9 months program at the University of Nairobi, and I got a distinction. I did my diploma in IR and diplomacy, international relations and diplomacy. And I remember I just felt powerful. And I was like, this is it. No one is going to stop me. So for me to get money to do a degree, I could not stay as a receptionist because there was no pay. And yeah, everything fell into place.
Where did you get money for the university?
I started working as, I went to do my internship at the immigration department. And from there I met a potential employer. She took me to the sector of immigration and furnished apartments, and yeah, I've never stopped doing that.
You were open to opportunities.
Yeah, I was, because I let myself open to opportunities. And this actually makes me understand this quote that says, don't let anything stand on your way. If something is on your way, you either decide to bring it in or chase it out, because don't let it just stand on your way, because it acts as a blocking stock. That stock should not be there. Just get rid of it and be open to new possibilities. And I think that's what I did.
Which also requires a lot of courage. Sometimes it's very hard to let
a lot of it, yeah.
And also, it's also very interesting, the thing that you mentioned, that so when you were finishing your work as receptionist, so you felt that you already outgrew this, and it's so interesting that before you desired it so much, and then you had it, and you had it, it's paid, it's fantastic. And so, just to get this like order of your events, so you gave birth at the age of 20, then 20 till 25 supermarket, 25 till 30 receptionist, right? And then you started an internship for a year, I would presume?
For a year, yeah.
And then after it, at the age of 32, you started your degree.
My degree started at the age of 33.
33,
yes.
Right after the internship.
Yes.
So you had money to pay for the...
Pay for it, yes.
And you got the distinction.
And I got a first class honors.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Because I knew I am late. So the only thing that will set me apart is if I perform well. And I used to read. I used to read, I used to understand phenomena, theories, because international relations and diplomacy, it's all about theories and understanding how the world works. And I actually lived there.
Were you only studying, or were you studying and working?
Working. I was doing evening classes and working during the day.
And your child?
Now, I had to take her to, I told her, you know what, I'm going to change our lives. You will not believe it, but I want you to trust me. So I had to take her to boarding school.
Ooh.
Yes, like when she was 10 years, yes.
Wait, now when you were at Cambridge? Or
No, back then, before I started my degree.
But boarding schools are quite expensive.
No, it was not
that expensive.
That expensive, yeah.
Look at you. You were like almost committing suicide because you didn't have any money to survive, and then you could afford boarding school for your child
and at the
your
same
education.
My education,
It's fantastic.
It's because that's why I keep on saying the world is magical. When someone asks me, I'm like, the world is magical, and I don't like people complaining too much because I don't like complaining. And I'm glad my story, my experiences, especially with people who've seen me, I've given them hope. And they've realized, oh, there's power in reading, because I have a gigantic library in my house. And I read about anything, because, you know, when you're hungry, you feed. When you're thirsty, you drink. When you feel sweaty, you shower. When you want to look good, you wear makeup and good clothes. What happens to your mind when it requires all that? People should read or listen to. Reading doesn't entail just reading, you can listen. Still, you are giving your mind food. and that's it. Because every time you need, we don't have a manual on how to hack this life. Some are privileged, they are brought in families whereby you don't need to learn or unlearn a lot of things. I was brought up in an environment that I had to unlearn a lot of things. I had to learn new things. I had to learn that no, I don't need to have riches in heaven. I can actually have them here. You see, so I had to unlearn a lot of things, learn a lot of things, and I am happy that I was born during the era of technology advancement and social media, because quotes, I love reading quotes because they inspire me, they make me feel like, So anytime I'm feeling something, I read a quote or a book that speaks to that situation. And after that, I know, this one is already handled. Yeah.
And when did you give birth to your second child?
I gave birth to my second child in 2021.
So it was after
It was actually because of COVID. At some units I had to do. The last unit I did it a day to delivery. Yes, I did it online because after COVID everything went online. So still when I was doing my labor pains, I was still doing my exam. And I passed. I got an A.
You're a fantastic woman.
That's why Beyonce says, who runs the world? Women. We run and rule this world. And I feel the future is going to be great if women take over, because we've seen what men are doing. Men are doing Gaza, the Ukraine, the Congo, the Africa, everywhere we just see it's chaotic. Masculinity is all about fights. Femininity is all about giving people hope, giving people the best, because women are naturals, and that's what the world needs. Yeah.
And were you married?
I can say maybe I was. Maybe I was, or I was trying to, because I was living with my spouse back then. But it got to a point I felt, no, this is not what I want, because my vision and his visions don't align at all. And I needed just to remember I have a life to live, I have a continent to save, I also have people to inspire, and I felt like that marriage would have swallowed me. The way systems swallow very brilliant people. And I decided, no, I'm not doing this. So Cambridge was my escape route.
But did this event, so you had 2 children, you weren't married, did this change your view on love? And how, if it did?
I think when you're not ready for anything. You see things from a different perspective. You see things not working. I think I was not ready. So if you had asked me this question maybe last year June, I would have told you relationships are scams. Everybody is a scam, just stay alone and everything. But currently my view has changed. I feel when you find the right person and both of you are actually seriously in love with each other, I mean, love is love. Love is true.
Which is also very inspiring, because most of people who went through this, they would end up with hatred towards men.
Yeah.
And what do you think helped you to not get this hatred and to actually believe that love is a beautiful thing that can happen to people?
To people. I can say, I hate being bitter. I don't like being bitter, and I normally look at every situation, every challenge as a lesson. I looked at my previous situation and I was like, what have I learned from this? And I realized this is not what I learned about my negotiables and non-negotiables, and I kept my non-negotiable with me. And negotiables, I'll negotiate them with also a little bit of hardness so that they don't go overboard, and also I don't compromise a lot. So I feel it's about lessons. So every time anything happens to me, what am I learning? So I take the lessons. For me, I just view everything as a lesson.
So you learned more about yourself?
Yeah, actually, yeah. Deeper. I am even more proud of myself now because life is for the living.
Yes. Life is for the living,
Yeah,
and
life is
especially
for-
here in Cambridge.
Yes, exactly.
So tell me about Cambridge. So,
Ooh.
okay, so you graduated.
Mm-hmm.
This was the undergraduate degree,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Okay, how did you decide to apply for Cambridge?
Remember, Cambridge has always been
Yeah.
at the back of my mind.
Yes. Why Cambridge specifically?
I remember the dictionaries, you know,
Yeah,
Cambridge and Oxford. But the reason why I didn't apply to Oxford, I was like, do I have 2 years for masters and I still want to do my PhD? I don't have 2 years. I only have 1 year. So Cambridge was the easiest option. But still, I remember when I started my degree, I printed the image of Cambridge and I wrote masters. And I have vision boards. So I love sticking. Me, I'm that person who will stick things all over my bedroom just to inspire me. But and I love neatness. So in a neat way, I'll decide this wall here is for my inspiration. So Cambridge was part of it. It was there when I was doing my undergrad. Even when I felt tired or sometimes I lacked school fees, and I'll say, Cambridge, we're coming. So money has to come from known and unknown sources. And everything happened. So yeah, that's why I am here.
Interesting thing. So you first got how it works in Cambridge is
Yeah.
that you first get an offer and
Yeah.
then you still you do not have your funding
Yeah.
secured. You're waiting for the scholarship.
Yeah.
How was it? So when you got the offer, were you sure that okay, I have the offer, so I will find money? How was it?
Yes, I was actually sure. I was sure that I'm gonna get an offer with Mastercard Foundation because I felt I have a story, and my story is a powerful story. And because Mastercard Foundation funds people from the continent, I was 100% sure I'm gonna get Mastercard. How I did not get it, I don't know. But anyway, yeah.
You didn't have a single doubt that you wouldn't get the
I knew.
scholarship?
For me, I knew the moment I remember on the 7th of February, that's when I saw the conditional offer. And I knew, for me, I even started packing. I started living Cambridge dream. And later on, I remember being chosen to go to Newnham College. And I was like, I checked it, I was like, oh, okay, it's a only girls college. And I was like, yeah, it's okay. As long as at Cambridge, that's okay. So by May, when I didn't get funding from Mastercard, and Mastercard,
You didn't get?
Yes, I didn't get funding from Mastercard. I sort of panicked, but then I reminded myself, oh, Vinyano, you're still going to Cambridge. Money is going to come from known and unknown sources. And every day I will wake up. I love manifesting. Every day I will wake up. I have a diary. I write a lot because I believe everything should be written down. And I remember telling myself, money should come from unknown and unknown sources. I even wrote an entire, 3 pages of why I should come to Cambridge and what that will mean, not only for me, but for other women who are young mothers, even their fathers, even their mothers, and the continent as a whole. Because for me, my desire is to change that continent.
Yes.
Yeah, and make it productive. Because anyway, so one day in June, I was sitting in my car. I had met a client, but for sure I knew I was going to Cambridge. I saw an email from Oxford and Cambridge Society of Kenya telling me they have an interview on the 22nd of June. And I said, you don't interview me and you leave me out. I will be available. I will give my best. And once you speak to me, that's it. Yeah. And the moment I had that interview, I was just expecting a call, and it came 2 weeks later in July. Congratulations, and that was it.
Yes, I really feel it. I think the firm believes that you're gonna have it.
Yeah.
it's super important. I would say that it is vital. It's crucial.
Yeah, it's crucial. It's
Yes.
part of. It's supposed to be part of us.
I remember when I got the offer to study at Cambridge, but
Mhm.
not the offer from the scholarship, because the
Mhm.
results of the scholarship were coming later.
Mhm.
I was like, okay, I'm already going to Cambridge.
Yeah.
I have no idea
Yeah.
if, well, I did not have this belief that I would get the scholarship though, but I thought, okay, even if I do not get this scholarship,
Mhm.
I would, like, the money will come, because if you already made it to Cambridge,
Mhm.
like, there is
Yeah.
there is no way that you aren't coming there.
Yeah.
Like, I know that some people, they would say, oh, okay, we have the offer, but maybe we will not get the scholarship. It's very sad, so they would stop. But I think it's very important to just believe,
yeah.
and then you got the scholarship.
Yeah.
So it's fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I got the Oxford and Cambridge Society of Kenya Scholarship, whereby it's part of Wilson. So once you get that scholarship, you have to come to Wilson.
Oh.
Yeah, because I was supposed to go to Newnham. If I had gotten the MasterCard, I would be at Newnham. So I think the universe also wanted me to come to Wilson.
Yes.
Yeah, because Wilson is a land of free international students.
I think you were enjoying your experience here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so when you came to Cambridge,
Mm-hmm.
you're 38 years old.
Yes.
And you were doing your master's
Yeah.
here.
Mm-hmm.
And so you left your daughter with your mother, I presume?
No, my sister,
your sister.
and the nanny, yeah. My daughter and my son.
How was it? What would you, so if the story resonates with some other women who are watching, right? What were you feeling? How was it easy? Was it hard? So you were living your student life here in a completely different country.
Yeah.
And you needed to be focused on the studies, because Cambridge it's quite difficult to study here.
True, yeah.
So tell me about it. How was it? How were you facing this challenge?
I believe that we are prisoners of our minds, and I really wanted this opportunity. And I remember having seen women saying, I got this opportunity, but I could not go because of family. I grew up with hearing such kinds of stories, and I remember telling myself, that day I'll get an opportunity. Married, not with 1 million kids, I will have to go for it if it's something that it's life-changing for me. Because a happy parent, a happy mother, makes their kids happy.
Yes, it's true.
And I'm not gone for long, and they will understand. My daughter is super proud of me. She calls me the lady in charge. That's how she's saved me.
Really? She does?
The lady in charge. Because she knows I am doing this. Currently, she knows I'm applying for my PhD. And she's like, yeah, mom, go for it. Because I told her, your mother will be called Dr. Wafinya soon. This is not where the road ends. Yeah, so I want to encourage every other single woman out there. Your kids will appreciate you more if you're driven. Your kids will appreciate you more if you follow your dreams, because you will not be a bitter person. A lot of women are bitter because they left everything just for family, and that's why we have a lot of bitter people growing up, because they've gone through bitter parents. So for me, I said, and it's just having a conversation. Okay, I know with my son, he'll not understand, but kids, they embrace positivity.
Yes.
When I went back for 2 weeks before coming back to graduate, my son was really happy. I know he missed me, but I went back and became that fun parent that he's always known. Yes, I'll have missed him growing up at 2 years, but I love technology advancement. I do video calls with them every day. Even after this podcast, I'm supposed to have a video call with them. Yeah, so yeah, go for what you believe in. Go for your dreams.
So are you going back this year, or and then are you coming back to Cambridge next year for the PhD? What are your future endeavors?
Okay, I'm not coming back to Cambridge.
Okay.
But I'll not say where my options are.
I think that I know.
Yeah. So I'm still trying to figure out, but I've gotten a supervisor who's interested to read my proposal. So when everything works out, I'll go to that university. Yeah. but it will still be here. But I'm going home end of this month. I wanted to enjoy summer. I wanted to enjoy Cambridge without winter and without dissertation hovering around you.
But also another thing, I remember that you submitted your dissertation early.
Yeah.
Because I remember a friend of mine who is doing your course as well. He was like, Esther, she has already submitted! And I still need to cram for it.
Because I don't like doing things the last minute. I hate last minutes. I don't like it.
But you did it like, I think a month before, or?
No. I did it like, I used to submit and then
go through it.
And then take it back.
Oh.
But I submitted 3 days. I had finished my dissertation early.
Okay.
Yeah, because even my supervisor read my dissertation like 3 times.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
This is fantastic.
Yeah.
And when you will be doing your PhD is usually, like, it usually takes 3 or 4 years in the UK.
Yeah.
So will your children be in the boarding school?
I'll come with my son and
Here.
also my daughter, but they will not live here. I want them to just come during summer, during warm times, and then I still want them to be in Kenya because I will not live in this part of the world. Yes, I will go back to my country. I'd rather really live in any other country in Africa, but not this part of the world.
Is this why?
Because I feel that's where I'm supposed to work. That's where I'm supposed to. I don't want to be part of the brain drain. Yes.
So you want to contribute to
development processes. Yes, because our continent is the most richest in terms of natural resources, labor, but it's still the most poorest. So that paradox does not really make sense. And I want to be part of the people who give. A lot of people have given up. A lot of people are just living in survival mode, and I want to give hope.
Before you mentioned this power of purpose, right? So is it your purpose now? Is it the thing that motivates you to go back and to make your country a better place to live?
A better place to live, and the continent. I want to be part of the people who, and help them to sign out of treaties that have actually continuously underdeveloped us. I want to be part of the policymakers. I want to be part of the people who are signing into better treaties. I want to be part of the people who are creating a leveling playing field where people with talent, with ideas can actually thrive and become the best they can be. An environment where entrepreneurs can become billionaires. I want to see African trading amongst each other. I want to see transport improve because we have it's crazy. It's a crazy continent. We still lag behind in so many things when it comes to development, technology, military. Yeah, we are just the subordinate continent in the international sphere, and I'm glad that I did international relations and diplomacy, and now I'm doing international development. So merging the two, I feel like the world does not have scarcity. We don't know how to govern and use our resources and our talent to best fit our continent.
It's interesting how before you mentioned that you don't like to make decisions out of scarcity, right?
Yeah.
When you have fear. So it also shifts to your view of the world itself. And what do you think, what would be the best job for you now after Cambridge? What job do you desire to have back in Kenya?
Actually, I don't want to be employed. I want to be a consultant. I want to work with governments. I want to be their policy advisor because policies, I have come to realize with time, they actually influence your development trajectory, and we make very bad policies. We sign into deals that don't actually matter to us. They matter to the Western sphere, and that's why we are continuously in an underdeveloped mode, and that's what I want to be able to challenge the status quo.
This is fantastic. You know, you came from being homeless, then working in supermarket and almost committing suicide, to get first of all here, and then to go back to your country and influence it at the country international level.
Yeah.
So this is such a massive achievement. It's I would say it's phenomenal.
It's crazy. Actually, there's a photo of mine, a photo of my son I took during his birthday. His birthday is normally 17th of September. I took it last year before coming to Cambridge, because I think it was 13 days later I came. And I remember when we were going to see my mom during his birthday, he took one of my books. And that book was Local Solutions with Global Expertise. And for me, I love understanding, why is someone doing this? Why is this happening to me? Why is this insight being sent to me? Because of course, at times I would feel like, oh my God, I'm leaving this young boy. But when he took that book during his birthday, I felt like he was telling me, Mom, go get global expertise and come handle the local solutions.
Your children are so supportive. They see that you're going towards your dreams.
And he was only 2 years. He didn't even know, but he just picked this book. So for me, I feel that's why I keep on saying the universe is magical. And sometimes it's actually every day it sends us insights. So it's just that some of us don't look for those insights. But when you're keen about life, when you're keen about everything, you just say life is magical.
It is.
Just as the way Cambridge is an art of seduction.
True, this is actually a good point. So I remember when we met, I asked you, so what's Cambridge for you? And then you had the tattoo, right?
Yeah.
So maybe you tell the story.
Yeah, for me, when I came here, I came here with a lot of positivity, and I'm also living here with a lot of positivity. Actually, positivity and experience and networks, because Cambridge gives you all what you want, if you really know what you want.
True.
You want intellectual stimulants, you get to meet people who will actually engage you intellectually. You want to have fun, you will meet people who actually have fun. You want to understand different races, different religions, different everything. You'll meet people who will actually guide you through that. So it's a continuous learning institution, and it offers you everything. And it's only seduction that offers you everything. So I decided to borrow from Robert Greene's book, The Art of Seduction. You want to go and see the most medieval building, you will go there. You want to see medieval books, you will go there. You'll find them here. Like, it's a hub of everything. Yeah.
Art of seduction is such an interesting description of Cambridge.
Yeah.
And I admire this feminine touch in it.
Because the world is going feminine. I really wish Kamala takes it, because it will change a lot of perceptions to how we view politics and women. Yes.
And I will ask you one last question.
Yeah.
When you were here, weren't you homesick for the whole year that you were without your kids?
Of course, there are days that I felt, I want to be with my kids. That's why in December I went home. But again, when you're filled with purpose, you look at the purpose, because developing myself, going after what I want, means that I will be able to push my kids to always go for what they want. And also my kids will know, Mama didn't come to this world to play. We all have to go for what we want, for what we believe in. So those moments I will feel that I'll get to do something, either go hang out with friends. I mean, the reason why I say Cambridge is an art of seduction, each college has a bar. So if you want to go drench yourself or hang out with people, you have so many different locations offering different perspectives. You meet new people every day. Every day I used to meet new people. There's no single day you will not meet a new person.
It's true.
Yeah, so I never used to like locking myself, because when you lock yourself, everything comes, your memories come, your current situation actually get amplified, and you start feeling sad and whatnot. But I never let that happen. So anytime I felt I'm going to let myself get drowned into my memories of sadness. I'll get out and go.
Yes, like, every time when I saw you
Yeah.
were with friends, you
Yeah.
were so happy.
Yes.
And hadn't you told me all of this, I would have never presumed that you went through so much hardship in your life, which is fantastic. That you the person who, I think you were always this person,
Yeah.
just going through different situations. Because otherwise, if you weren't, then you wouldn't have survived.
Yeah, so very, very true. So it's I don't like when people say survival for the fittest. I want to say it's survival for self. You have to let yourself survive. And once you are done with that survival phase, now you live in elevation. So every day I feel elevated. Every day. And that's why a lot of people ask me, do you even get mad? Like, why?
Yeah, you saw so many things.
Yeah. Why should I? Well, I'd rather take myself out of that situation, or out of that group of people, or out of that person who's making me mad or sad, and go, the universe is full.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. You saw so many things. Now you know that, okay, I just need to
Yes. And also another reason why Cambridge this is for people who want to come to Cambridge. Every single day, there's something that is happening in all the 31 colleges. Something that is actually intellectually stimulating. And after that, they have free bites and alcohol, wine. So don't ever feel sad. Don't ever lock yourself. Go out there, interact, network, and have fun and enjoy your course. Dissertation will be hard, but still, you have to live life because life is for the living.
Is there anything, Esther, that I didn't ask you but I should have asked you?
I think we've actually captured
so many.
So many. What I will just want to say as a parting shot is, don't give up on yourself, because no one is going to come and save you. You have to save yourself from any situation. If you feel down, it's just for that moment. Be positive, create that life, because the world is created from your own imagination. So always create a better world for yourself, then the world will become a better place.
Esther, thank you very much for this interview. I am so impressed by your story. I am so impressed by you as a woman. I wish you best of luck with everything, with your PhD, with family, with love, with changing Kenya, with everything.
And Africa.
And Africa, yes. And the whole world.
Yeah, actually, and the whole world.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I am happy.